Hey everyone, ever wonder about the weird stuff in life? The kind of questions that make you stop and think, wait, what? Like, why do drug dealers still live with their moms? It's not just a quirky fact, there's a deeper story behind it. Or why is sumo wrestling more about honor than winning? There's a whole cultural and economic reasoning behind it. Buckle up, because we're diving into Freakonomics, the book that's like Sherlock Holmes meets your Econ 101 class. It's a thrilling journey through the unexpected. It's written by a brainy economist, Stephen D. Levitt, and a New York Times journalist, Stephen J. Dubner. Together, they make a dynamic duo. They team up to solve life's mysteries with, you guessed it, economics. But not the dry, boring kind. This is economics with a twist. Imagine economics not as boring graphs and charts, but as a way to understand why people do what they do. It's like turning the mundane into the extraordinary. That's what Freakonomics is all about. It's about making sense of the seemingly senseless. It's about looking at the world sideways, finding patterns where others see chaos. It's like being a detective in your everyday life. Think of it as a decoder ring for everyday life. It helps you unlock the secrets hidden in plain sight. Like, why are there so many Starbucks? Economics can explain. It's all about understanding market dynamics and consumer behavior. Levitt and Dubner take us on a wild ride through some of society's most fascinating puzzles. They make the complex simple and the simple complex. They don't shy away from controversial topics either. They dive right in, asking the tough questions. In fact, they embrace them. They tackle the taboo and the uncomfortable with gusto. It's like they're saying, let's talk about the stuff others won't touch. They bring light to the dark corners of society, so get ready to have your mind blown. Prepare to see the world in a whole new way. This is economics, but not as you know it. It's a thrilling, eye-opening adventure into the hidden side of everything. Freakonomics is built on a simple but powerful idea: incentives rule the world. These incentives, whether they are financial, social, or moral, drive our actions and decisions every single day. Every decision we make, from what to eat for breakfast to whether to cheat on a test, is influenced by incentives. They are the unseen forces that guide our choices, often without us even realizing it. The book argues that if you want to understand why people do what they do, you have to figure out what motivates them. Think about it. What drives you to make the choices you do every day? Why do you study for a test? Is it purely for the love of learning, or is there something more? Not because you love memorizing facts. Maybe you do, but you're a rare breed. Most of us do it because we are driven by external rewards. You do it because you're incentivized. These incentives can be powerful motivators. A good grade means happy parents, which can lead to praise and recognition, a better chance of getting into college, opening doors to future opportunities, and ultimately, a brighter future. The promise of success and stability is a strong incentive. Economics helps us see those hidden forces at play. It reveals the underlying motivations behind our actions. But here's the twist: incentives aren't always obvious. They can be subtle and complex. Sometimes they're hidden in plain sight, like the incentives for teachers to cheat on standardized tests to make their schools look better. More on that later. These hidden incentives can have far-reaching consequences. Freakonomics is all about uncovering those hidden incentives and showing how they shape our world in surprising ways. By understanding these incentives, we can better navigate the complexities of life and make more informed decisions. Remember the 1990s? Crime rates were through the roof. Experts predicted it'd get worse, but then, something weird happened. Crime plummeted. Everyone had a theory: tougher sentencing, more police, innovative policing strategies. But Levitt and Dubner offered a surprising explanation: legalized abortion. Whoa, right? Their argument was based on the idea that unwanted children are more likely to grow up in environments that lead to criminal activity. When abortion was legalized, it gave women, particularly those in disadvantaged situations, more control over their reproductive choices. This, they argued, led to a decrease in unwanted births and ultimately less crime a generation later. Now, this theory is highly controversial and it sparked a ton of debate. But that's the beauty of Freakonomics. It makes you think, even if it makes you uncomfortable. It challenges conventional wisdom and forces you to confront your assumptions. Freakonomics is full of these unexpected connections. One minute they're talking about cheating teachers, the next they're analyzing the bizarre world of sumo wrestling. What do these two things have in common? More than you might think. Levitt and Dubner discovered that in both cases, there were strong incentives to cheat. For teachers under pressure to raise test scores, fudging the numbers could mean bonuses, job security, or avoiding scrutiny. In sumo wrestling, where rankings are everything, throwing a match to help a fellow wrestler could be a way to repay a debt or gain favor. The point is, people respond to incentives. And sometimes those incentives lead them to make decisions that on the surface seem irrational or even unethical. But by understanding the underlying motivations, we can start to make sense of even the most perplexing behavior. Section 5. The power of a little motivation, or a free bagel. Let's talk about bagels, specifically, an experiment by a guy named Paul Feldman. He ran a bagel delivery service and he noticed something interesting. People were more likely to pay for bagels if they were left in an honor box than if they had to hand over cash to a cashier. Why? Turns out, even small things like the anonymity of the honor system can influence our behavior. When we think no one is watching, we might act differently. We're more likely to cheat or steal when we think we can get away with it. The lack of direct oversight can make us feel less accountable. But when someone's watching, even if it's just a picture of eyes on the wall, we're more likely to do the right thing. This subtle reminder of being observed can significantly alter our actions. This experiment highlights a key theme of Freakonomics: context matters. The environment we are in can greatly influence our behavior and decisions. The same person who might steal a bagel from the office kitchen might think twice about shoplifting from a store. The setting and perceived consequences are different. Our environment, the people around us, and even our own perception of ourselves all play a role in shaping our decisions. It's fascinating how small changes in context can lead to big differences in behavior. Section 6. It's not what you think. Question everything. The beauty of Freakonomics is that it encourages us to question everything. It reminds us that the most obvious answer isn't always the right one, and that sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. The book is packed with counterintuitive insights. For example, did you know that swimming pools are more dangerous to kids than guns? Or that drug dealers often make less money than minimum wage workers? These aren't just random facts, they're examples of how our intuition can mislead us. Freakonomics challenges us to look beyond the headlines and dig deeper. It encourages us to be skeptical of conventional wisdom and to seek out evidence before forming opinions. In a world saturated with information, this kind of critical thinking is more important than ever. Section 7. Your world turned upside down. By the time you finish Freakonomics, you'll never see the world the same way again. You'll start to notice the hidden incentives that shape our everyday lives. You'll question assumptions you didn't even know you had. And you'll realize that even the most mundane details can reveal surprising truths about human nature. The book doesn't offer easy answers or simple solutions. It's not a self-help book or a political manifesto. It's a journey of intellectual curiosity, a celebration of the power of data and analysis to illuminate the world around us. Freakonomics is a reminder that the world is a fascinating, messy, and often unpredictable place. But it's also a place where data can help us make sense of the chaos and understand ourselves and each other a little bit better. Section 8. Go forth and freak out. So, what are you waiting for? Go grab a copy of Freakonomics and get ready to have your mind blown. It's a wild ride through the hidden side of everything, and it's a journey you won't soon forget. And hey, if you start seeing the world in a whole new light, don't blame us. Blame the economists. They started it. Keep those brains firing, and remember, sometimes the most interesting answers come from asking the weirdest questions. Who knows? You might just uncover the next Freakonomics insight.